Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about everything you need to know about the beginnings of perimeter. So perimeter is take a walk around the shape and add up as you go. Okay, so there's a couple things that we need to remember. First, when we're talking about a rectangle, we're talking about twice the length plus twice the width. However, when we talk about a square, we're talking about 4 times the single side length, and the reason for that is because all sides are the same. So you may see examples like these where you are asked to find the perimeter of the shape and you are given limited pieces of information. So in this first one, you are told that you have a length of 10 3/5 and a width of 4 3/8. So what you have to remember about perimeter here is that your perimeter is going to be twice the length, so twice 10 3/5 plus twice the width, so twice the 4 3/8. One thing that I would do is I would change these values over to an improper fraction. And so here, when we do that, remember you're always going to do bottom times the big number plus the top goes in the top. So this is 2 times 10 times 5 plus 3 all over 5. And then 2 times 8 times 4 plus 3 all over 8. So this is going to give you 2 times 10 times 5 is 50 plus 3 gives you 53 over 5. And then I have 2 times 4 times 8 is 32 plus 3 more gives you 35. So this is 35 over 8. So then we would go ahead and multiply those together, and then you would add them. Now another thing that you can do is you could either leave this in fraction form or you can switch it over to your decimal form, whichever you choose. And so here, if we multiply straight in, we have 2 times 53, which is going to give you 106. So here we're going to end up with 106 over 5 plus, on this other one, my 2 and my 8 can reduce, so this becomes 4 on the bottom. So we are left with 35 over 4. Remember, with fractions you need to have a common denominator. What's common between 5 and 4 would be 20. And so here with this first fraction, what you're missing is the 4. So this would become 106 times 4. So this is 424 over 20. Add a 2. In the second fraction, we're missing 5. So 35 times the 5 is going to give you 175 over 20. Add those both together, and you get 599 over 20 meters. Now this would be a fractional answer. The other thing that we can do is you could simply divide it out, which means we could also say that this was 29.95 meters. And that would work as well. So this is going to come down to, are you asked to keep it exact, or are you asked to give an approximation in decimal? Are you told to round or not? For me personally, most of the times when we're talking about measures are not given in fractions. A lot of times they're given in decimal. So I would accept, either, but you just need to be very careful with what you're doing. Alright, so let's look at another one here. So let's look at this one down here, number 2. So here we have just simply take a walk around the shape and add as you go. So your perimeter here is going to be 9 plus 10 plus 12 plus 7. Simple as that. And this is centimeters. So here you should end up with 38 centimeters. And yes, your units are incredibly important as they keep with the flow of the problem. Okay, let's do another one. Here, notice I gave you this one, this side is missing. You have this side, and this long side is missing as well. So when we look at this x, this right here, notice it runs parallel to the bottom. So the whole bottom is 29. I have a little piece here at the top, which is 7. So here you would have 29 minus 7, which gives you 22 meters. To get this vertical side, we would do the same thing. So notice it runs parallel to the other side here. Here I'm telling you that you have 15 meters. I'm also telling you that you have 12 more. So to find this y side, we would have 15 plus 12, which is going to give you 27 meters for that vertical side. Now to find your perimeter, it just simply says take a walk. So we've got 29 plus the 15 plus the 22 plus the 12 plus 7 plus the 27. And this is all meters. So when we add that all up, we end up with 112 meters. Now the other thing that you could have noticed when trying to find these missing sides is that if we were to take this corner and pull it out, we would have a rectangle. So the other thing that you could have done to find your perimeter is you could have simply done twice the 29 plus twice the 27, and that would have given you the same result. So either way, either adding them up individually or recognizing that it's actually a rectangle is completely up to you and would be accepted either way. Now circles are a completely different breed altogether. When we're talking about circles and we want to find the perimeter of a circle, it's called a circumference. Okay, so this would be the equation that we are looking at as the circumference of a circle. Now, depending on what you've been given, it's going to depend on which version of this equation you use. The radius is the halfway point between the center and the outer part of your circle. So 2 pi r is there on purpose. The reason for that is because your diameter is twice your radius. That being said, diameter goes the whole way across your circle. Okay, thus the reason why we can also write it as pi times d. Now for the purposes of most problems, when we're talking about pi, we are specifically talking about 3.14. Okay, so when you're doing your work, no matter what class you're in, the very first thing you need to do when you come across circles is you need to figure out how are you referencing pi. Okay, how many digits is it going? Because that is incredibly important with your calculations. So now here we want to find the indicated measure. And in this case, each problem is stating that we want to use 3.14 for pi. So find the circumference. In this problem, notice I'm giving you a radius. So I'm telling you that your radius is 6 inches. So to find your circumference says we're going to use 2 pi r. What this means is that we're going to use 2 times 3.14 times 6. And this is inches. When you multiply all those together, you will come out with 37.68 inches. Now this bottom one is using a diameter. And so here we're telling you that your diameter is equal to 6.2 centimeters. So to find the circumference says we're going to use pi times the diameter. So to do that says we're going to do 3.14 times 6.2, and this is centimeters. Multiply those together and we come out with 19.468 centimeters. Okay. Let's look at some more. Here, this problem says that a circular fountain has a radius of 5 feet. Approximate the distance around the fountain. Use 3.14 for pi. So here, I actually input the circle so that you can see it. We're talking about a circle here that has a radius, and specifically we're told that that radius was 5 feet. If we want to know the distance around the fountain, we're talking about circumference. Since I gave you radius, we're going to use 2 pi r. So in this case, we're going to have 2 times 3.14 times 5. And this is in feet. So here we're going to end up with 31.4 feet as your circumference. Now the other thing that we can do is we can use parts of shapes, or we can combine things together. So in this case I want to find the perimeter, but notice here I only have part of a circle. What this means is that I'm actually looking at circumference divided by 2. Here I'm giving you the diameter, so this is going to be the same as saying pi times the diameter divided by 2, and that is what we're looking at. So here, in order to solve it, we've got 3.14 times my 10 feet, divided by 2, because we only have half a circle, my unit is feet. So once you work this, my half circumference, so remember this is this part, is going to be 15.7 feet. Now to find the perimeter, we have to do the circumference over 2, and then we have to add in the diameter. So here we're going to take that 15.7, we're going to add the 10 feet to it to get your perimeter. So my actual perimeter is going to end up being 25.7 feet. Okay, and again, remember the reason for that is because circumference is the outer part of a circle, which means all we found with your circumference was this piece out here. To find the perimeter, we still have to add this center piece, or this diameter piece here. Now this next one is adding two shapes together. So notice I have here in this part I have half a circle, and I still want to find the perimeter. So here again I have to do circumference over 2. So again we're looking at pi times my diameter over 2, and I know it's diameter because that's what I've been given, is a diameter of 6. So here this is going to be 3.14 times 6 all over 2, and this is centimeters. So once you multiply all that together and divide, you end up with 9.42 centimeters. And remember, that is just simply the outer edge. So to find your perimeter means you have to take your circumference over 2, and then you're going to go plus your 5 centimeters plus the 5 centimeters. So in this case, we're going to take 9.42 plus 5 is going to give me a total perimeter of 19.42 centimeters. So remember, perimeter is a walk around the shape. So we went around the circumference of our circle and then up the outer edges of our triangle. Now, all of those problems, things have been given to you. What happens if you're given word problems instead? So here you're told that a rectangular room measures 6 feet by 8 feet, and you need to find the cost of installing a strip of wallpaper around the room if the wallpaper is 86 cents per foot. So the first thing that we need here, is we need to know your perimeter, so that the second thing we can do is we could calculate your cost. Okay, those are the steps we have to take. So if I'm telling you that your room measures 6 by 8, you've got 6 by 8, since it's a rectangle, since it says right here, rectangular room, that means to find my perimeter, says twice the width plus twice the length. So in this case, we're going to go twice times 6 plus twice times 8. When we multiply that out, we end up with 28 feet. Now to find my cost, says I have to take that 28 feet and multiply it by the 0.86 cents per foot. So this gives me a cost of $24.08. Alright, so let's look at this last one here. This last one here says that the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. is a 5-sided building where the outside wall is 921 feet. What is the perimeter of the building? So first of all, down here in the bottom, I kind of drew a picture for you of what it is. When we're talking about the Pentagon, there's many ways to draw a pentagon, but this one particular has all equal side lengths. Therefore, to find the perimeter, simply says we're going to take 5 times the 921 feet, and that's going to give us a total perimeter of 4605 feet around the building. Now, if it takes a person 0.00341 minutes to walk 1 foot, how long will it take that person to walk completely around the building? Notice we want to round to the nearest tenth. So here you have to take your perimeter, so 4605. You have to multiply that by your walking speed, 0.00341, and this was minutes per foot, and that is going to give you your walking speed. So here you're going to come up with 15.7 minutes. So there you have it. That is kind of everything in a nutshell that you would need to know about perimeter. So all you have to remember is this: perimeter means take a walk around your shape and add up as you go. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. Remember to have fun and relax, and I'll see you next time.